Have you ever felt like you're putting in all the effort in a relationship while he's just coasting along? You make plans, you check in, and you make time for him, but he only shows up when it's convenient for him? If that sounds familiar, you might not be his priority. You might just be an option. Many people ignore the signs because they don't want to believe they're being sidelined. But the truth is, if you don't recognize these red flags early on, you could waste months or even years in a one-sided relationship. Today, we're going to break it down clearly. 5 undeniable signs that he's keeping you as an option and not a priority. These signs aren't based on assumptions. They're backed by real relationship patterns and case studies. Let's get started. He's inconsistent with his effort. One day, he's texting you all the time, making plans, and telling you how much he loves being around you. Then, out of nowhere, he disappears. No texts, no calls, just silence. Days or even weeks later, he pops back up like nothing happened, acting as if everything is normal. This pattern isn't random. It's a sign that you're not a priority in his life. A study in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that inconsistent communication is a major source of emotional distress in relationships. When someone truly cares, their effort doesn't come and go based on convenience. They don't just show up when they feel like it and vanish when something else grabs their attention. Emily, a 32-year-old marketing professional, learned this the hard way. She had been dating Mark for 6 months. Some weeks, he was attentive, calling, planning dates, and making her feel special. Other times, he was distant, barely responding to texts or ignoring her completely. She later discovered he was doing the same thing with multiple women. His inconsistency wasn't on accident, it was calculated. He kept her close enough to keep his options open, but never committed. If a man only puts in effort when it's convenient for him, stop making excuses. You deserve more than someone who treats you like an option. Instead of waiting for his attention, focus on people who show up consistently. The right person won't leave you wondering where you stand. He avoids defining the relationship. Every time you bring up commitment, he changes the subject. Maybe he says, "Let's just go with the flow," or "Why do we need labels?" At first, it might seem like he just wants to take things slow, but after months of dating, his refusal to define the relationship starts to feel intentional. This is a common tactic to keep you in limbo. A 2022 survey by Pew Research Center found that 34% of people in undefined relationships experienced higher anxiety and insecurity than those in committed relationships. When you don't know where you stand, it's easy to overthink every interaction, wondering if you're wasting your time. Lisa, 29, went through this with Tom. They had been dating for over a year, but every time she asked about their future, he dodged the conversation. Meanwhile, she noticed he was still active on dating apps, talking to other women. She kept hoping he would come around, but deep down, she felt stuck in a cycle of waiting and disappointment. Eventually, she realized that if someone truly wants to be with you, they won't make it confusing. If you won't define the relationship after months of dating, that's your answer. You deserve clarity, not excuses. Don't let someone else's indecision keep you from finding real commitment. He only contacts you when he needs something. He never asks how your day was. He doesn't check in just to say hello, but the moment he needs something, advice, a favor, or even just an ego boost, he's suddenly blowing up your phone. Research from Psychology Today shows that transactional relationships, where one person only reaches out when they need something, are a sign of emotional detachment. A person who truly values you won't just show up when it's convenient for them. If he only calls you when he needs support or physical intimacy, he doesn't see you as a priority, he sees you as a convenience. Take Jake and Sarah's situation. Jake would go days without texting Sarah, but the moment he had car trouble or needed help with work presentations, she was the first person he called. At first, she thought it was because he trusted her, but over time she realized he never made an effort outside of his own needs. She was always available for him, but he was never there for her. Ask yourself, if you stopped helping him, would he still stick around? If the answer is no, then you already know where you stand. A real connection isn't built on one-sided effort. You deserve someone who cares even when they don't need anything. He doesn't include you in his future plans. When a man truly values you, he naturally includes you in his future. He talks about upcoming trips, career goals, and life changes with you in mind. But if he avoids these conversations or only speaks about the future as if he's single, that's a red flag. A study from the American Psychological Association found that couples who openly discuss their future together have a 45% higher satisfaction rate in their relationships. When two people see a future together, they don't shy away from these discussions, they embrace them. Take Natalie's experience. She had been dating Ryan for nearly a year. Whenever they talked about the future, it was always about his own plans, traveling, career moves, or even where he wanted to live, but never with her included. She found herself adjusting her own life to fit his, yet he never made the same effort. Over time, she realized he wasn't avoiding the conversation because he was unsure, he was avoiding it because he never saw her in his long-term plans. Pay attention to what he says and does. If he never includes you in his vision for the future, it's because he doesn't see you in it. You deserve someone who actively wants to build a life with you, not someone who keeps you guessing. You feel more like a backup plan than a priority. You're always the one making adjustments. If he calls last minute, you drop everything to see him, but when you ask to make plans in advance, he's suddenly too busy or unsure. It feels like you're just an option, not someone who he truly prioritizes. Research from Harvard Business Review found that people who feel like a second choice in relationships often struggle with lower self-esteem and emotional exhaustion. When someone doesn't make you a priority, it slowly wears you down. Jessica learned this the hard way. She was dating Adam for several months and always said yes when he wanted to meet up, even if it was last minute. But she noticed he never planned anything ahead of time. If she tried to schedule a date, he avoided committing. Over time, she realized he only called her when his other plans didn't work out. She wasn't his first choice. She was his backup plan. It's time to value your own time. If he only reaches out when it's convenient for him, stop being so available. When you step back, you'll see the truth. A man who genuinely cares will respect your time and make an effort, not just fit you in when it's easy for him. What should you do next? Recognizing these signs is the first step. The next step is action. If you see these patterns in your relationship, have an honest conversation with yourself. Are you always the one making the effort? Do you feel secure in this relationship, or are you constantly second-guessing where you stand? Is he genuinely invested in you, or are you just a convenience? Remember, you don't have to beg for someone's attention. The right person will make you a priority because they genuinely value you, not just when it's convenient for them. So if you realize you're just an option, don't settle. Walk away with confidence, knowing that the right person will never make you question your worth. Now, take control of your happiness. You deserve better.